Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your in-depth November horoscope video for the Sun or the Ascendant. Before I begin, I'd like to briefly tell you about my year 2021 personal horoscope special package. This gives you a forecast and a character analysis. But also if you order now in 2020, I'll give you the rest of this year free. Get 30% off this package based on your time, date and place of birth. It's totally individual to you and will give you searing insights into what you can expect in the months ahead. Please see beneath this video to click on the link to order. Hello Cancer and welcome to your monthly horoscope for November for the Sun or the Ascendant. The month begins with the Sun in the most glorious location of your situation. This is all about energy, drive, passion, self-expression, and embracing the things that really make you happy. And there's going to be an amazing new moon on the 15th, which gives you an opportunity to really showcase your talents. Part of the reason for that, Cancer, is that from the 9th through to the 18th, the Sun is going to be forging a glorious link with two other planets. The first is Jupiter, the planet of growth, which is in your sector of relationships. So if you are wanting to engender a better vibration between you and an existing partner, or meet someone new, or embrace your talents in some kind of partnership context, where there may be some mutual skills you can bring together with another, that can be a glorious opportunity. Also, the Sun forges a great link with Neptune across those days. If you are fortunate enough to be able to travel, which I realise may not necessarily be certain during this time of COVID, you could go on an expedition which really opens up your horizons. But if it's not possible in a physical sense, you can certainly work on something of a more creative nature, embracing your flair or artistry in a way which gives you a lot of uplift. But as this month begins, it's true that Mercury, the planet of communication, is in retrograde. And that retrograde does come to an end on the 2nd. So I think that's something we're all going to be celebrating. But Mercury does stay in a rather inward part of your scope. And because the Sun's in an opposition with Uranus in the first couple of days, there could be a sudden event, change, or opportunity which will give you a lot of food for thought. The most important thing with Mercury in the 4th house, where it's going to be through to the 10th, is not to bottle up your feelings. So if there is something that you need to express, particularly around a relationship situation or scenario, then try to be aware that with Mercury being blocked by Saturn for the first 10 days of this month, you could feel a little bit inhibited about an issue which is not running quite so sweetly. The wonderful news, however, is that Mercury does return back to the sign of Scorpio on the 11th, and by the 19th it comes out of shadow, which first began on the 27th of September. So it's been quite a long journey, and this may have seen you thinking very much about your love life, about your children if you have them, about your talents, but also then going through a period from the 27th of October of feeling more sensitive and even inward. And part of the reason for this, Cancer, is that Venus moved into the sign of Libra on the 27th of October, joining with Mercury. Now, Venus is actually going to be in this tender area right through to the 20th of this month. Now, this could give you the push to be more of a homemaker. Now, of course, you have an awesome reputation in this regard, quite rightly. But if there is something that you want to affect in the here and now, perhaps a new decorative scheme, moving furnishings around to create more space, or perhaps you have moved relatively recently or very recently or moved during this month, this can be an opportunity to really put your very warming and nurturing stamp on proceedings. But in a more romantic context or around a family relationship, care is going to be needed because Venus forges from the 9th through to the 19th a tender series of right angles. This begins with Pluto, then it's with Jupiter, then it's with Saturn. And that could mean that someone close to you doesn't quite get some of your responses. And if you can see outside your own situation, the fourth house can be a little inward looking. That can be of great benefit to you. Now, of course, the other thing that's been going on this year is this 6-month transit of Mars. And Mars, in fact, has been in retrograde since the 9th of September in the part of your horoscope to do with your ambitions and goals. And if something has slowed down, or it seemed that you've been very interdependent on other people, or there has been some power battles going on in some way, in a close relationship or a professional tie, I do feel that on the 14th, that energy can start to fall away a lot more. And that's going to be something that you really can celebrate. But also, that brings us to that glorious new moon, which is embracing the energies of Jupiter and Neptune. They continue to be in a wonderful alliance, so they're being very supportive to you too. Now, on the 21st, we have a magical event because Venus moves into the most glorious location, the 5th house. This is about your passions, your hopes, your desires, and she's going to be there through to the end of the month. That can be quite magical. It could, if you're single, bring someone new into your orbit. But on the same day, the Sun moves into the more practical sign of Sagittarius for you. And a good opportunity to take the creativity you've been working on of late and converting it into something that has more form and more structure. And the more disciplined side of life is going to be something that calls out to you in the latter part of this month. We also have Neptune ending a retrograde which began on the 23rd of June. If it does feel during that period of time that your ability to visualize and act out some of your dreams has felt inhibited, it wouldn't be a complete surprise. That's going to get easier. And then as the month comes to a close, we have an annular lunar eclipse in the sign of Gemini. Now, this reactivates an eclipse series which began in 1984 on the 30th of May, but in reverse because this is a lunar eclipse. And for you, it is possible that something of a more tender nature. Remember, you still have the North Node in the sign of Gemini, which for you is the 12th house. So something relating to the past, your subconscious, perhaps some anxieties may need looking at as this month comes to a close and the first 2 weeks of December unfolds. But it's also a cautionary note for all of us not to get too caught up in just the appearance of communication. It's what is really meant that is really significant here. So as you're trying to balance the more practical and the more physical side of your situation, the 6th house, the Sun in Sagittarius, with the more tender, hidden shadow side of the eclipse in Gemini, it is just all about allowing yourself potentially to let those vulnerabilities come up, to hug yourself, to reaffirm your strength, to reinforce some of your boundaries with the things you find difficult, and also, when needed, perhaps to grieve for some outstanding issues that you've yet to let go and release. But you can see that with that awesome new moon at the heart of this month, there's so much to go for you, Cancer. Wishing you all the best. Take care, stay safe, good luck, and goodbye.